Hi guys, it's Grant. Today I'm back with another video, and today I'm going to be going over a lot of the big signings during this offseason so far. There's been a lot through the first few days, and I'm going to go through all the signings that were notable or major, and I might be leaving a few out that are some major signings, but I'm just going to get through as much as I can because there has been a lot that's happened through these first 2 days of free agency, and if anything comes out after I'm done filming this video and it's not in the video, I'm sorry about that, but I'm just trying to get it as much as I can, and news is coming out left and right. It's coming out real quick. Some signings sometimes, so I'm going to try to get everything I can in this video. But before we get into this video, please like, subscribe to the channel. It would really mean a lot to me. And let's get right into the video with the first signing. I also did want to mention, I'm not going to really go over re-signing, players re-signing. I'm just going to go over players signing with a new team, and let's get right into the first signing. So for some of these contracts, I have the exact details of how much money and how many years. Some of them I just have the years. Some of them I don't have either, and it's just that they signed. So I'm just going to give you all the info I currently have at the time of filming. So first we have Jonnu Smith signing with the New England Patriots on a 4-year deal. I'm not 100% sure how much that is worth, but I do know it's a 4-year deal. Tight end for the Patriots. They really needed a tight end, a good move. Picking up Jonnu Smith, a very good tight end from the Titans. Big loss for the Titans. They're going to have to find a replacement for him, but a great signing for the Pats, and was the first signing. Let's get into the next one. Next signing we have is Matthew Judon from the Ravens signing with the New England Patriots on a 4-year, $56 million deal with the Patriots. I think a good signing for the Patriots, and they needed some help on the defense side of the ball, and I think Matthew Judon, outside linebacker / pass rusher, is a very good signing for the Patriots and helps this team get better, and maybe they try to get to the playoffs this year, but it is a hard division in the AFC East. Dolphins looked good last year, so did Bills, and the Jets look like they might be good this year because they might be getting a new quarterback, and they've also signed somebody, so it looks like they might be trying to rebuild and have a good year this year. So the AFC East is going to be competitive, but I think the Patriots are trying to maybe win this division again, so I think a good signing Matthew Judon for 4 years, and let's get into the next signing. Next signing we have is a former Patriot, Joe Thuney. Sorry if I'm saying anybody's name wrong through this video. I'm going to do my best with it. But Joe Thuney is signing with the Kansas City Chiefs on a 5-year, $80 million contract. I think this is a good pickup for the Chiefs because they do need a little bit of offensive line help. And he's one of the best available offensive linemen, if not the best, in the free agency class. So they're just helping block for Patrick Mahomes, which is obviously probably the number one priority. You got to keep him healthy and then also help that defense become better so they have a better chance of winning Super Bowls. And I just think this is a good signing for the Chiefs, trying to go back next year and win it since they didn't win this year against the Buccaneers. And I think good signing overall for the Chiefs. And let's get into the next signing. Next signing we have is John Johnson, the third safety from the Rams, signing with the Cleveland Browns on a 3-year, $33.75 million contract. And I think this is a great signing for the Browns because they're trying to compete, and I feel like they could be a really good contender for maybe even making the Super Bowl because this team looked really good last year. Almost beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. We're really close to. So I think with a few more pieces, this team could be really good. And John Johnson, the only reason he wasn't re-signed by the Rams is because they just don't have a lot of money right now, but a really good player, and I think will be great on this Browns team for the next 3 years, and a great pickup for them. And it is expensive to pay a little bit over $10 million a year for a safety, but I think it's worth it because he's a very good safety. So I like the deal by the Browns. Let's get into the next signing. Next, we have Yannick Ngakoue, sorry if I'm saying that name incorrectly, signing with the Las Vegas Raiders as an edge rusher. I think a great signing here for the Raiders. They need some pass rush. They did have Max Crosby, who was good last year, but not a ton outside of him, and you got to be able to get to the quarterback when you have Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes in your division. So I just think they need to upgrade their pass rush, and that's what they did here with Yannick Ngakoue. I think a good signing for the Raiders. And a good signing for Yannick because they were a good team last year. They were close to making the playoffs, and they did beat the Chiefs. So I think a very good team and could be really good this year if they can get some more help on this team. So good signing by the Raiders. Let's get into the next signing. Next, we have a former Las Vegas Raider, Nelson Agholor, signing with the New England Patriots. And I think this is a good signing for the Patriots. Get some wide receiver help for Cam Newton. They just re-signed because without much weapons around, Cam's really not going to do that good most likely because at this point in his career, he really doesn't have the greatest of arm accuracy, and if his wide receivers really aren't open, it's going to be hard for him to get it to them. And at this point in his career, he's kind of not as good anymore. So if you get some help around him, might make him look a little bit better and revive his career a little bit and possibly lead this team to a playoff run. So I think getting a nice number one receiver, Nelson Agholor, is good in there because Nelson Agholor was pretty good last year in Las Vegas for the Raiders. Let's get into the next signing. Next signing is Corey Davis signing with the New York Jets on a 3-year, $37.5 million contract. I think a great signing here for the Jets because the Jets really do need receiver help to help Sam Darnold or whoever their quarterback is. I think it's a really good receiver. Corey Davis, he had a breakout year last year and was a really good receiver for the Titans, and I think will be a really good receiver in New York. And yes, it is expensive to pay that much for a receiver, but I do think it's needed and will help Sam Darnold develop, or whoever the rookie is have a nice number one receiver, possibly, except if they get someone else that could be the number one. So I like this signing for the Jets, trying to compete, and let's get into the next signing. Next, we have the Titans signing Bud Dupree, the former Steeler pass rusher, for their defense, which I think is really good because they did not have a ton of pass rush last year, the Titans, and Bud Dupree was really good last year, and I think could be really good again this year with the Titans and make that defense a little bit better. And the offense was really good last year for the Titans, but the defense just was not very good, and if they have a better defense, I feel like they could go really far in the playoffs because they have a really good team with that offense, Ryan Tannehill, A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry, etc. And the defense, if I think it could get a little bit better, I think this team could be really good in Tennessee and possibly make a deep playoff run, even to the Super Bowl possibly. So I think helping that defense out, getting a great pass rusher in Bud Dupree is a really good signing for the Titans, and let's get into the next signing. Next, we have Ryan Fitzpatrick, or as a lot of people call him, Ryan Fitzmagic, signing with the Washington football team on a 1-year, $10 million contract. I think a great signing for football team here. $10 million for a quarterback is not that much, and I get he's older, so that's why I only signed him for 1 year. And he could help this team maybe make a playoff run. They have a really good defense, and the offense was not the greatest last year, but they also had 3 different starting quarterbacks throughout the year. Might have been 4, I don't remember exactly. It was either 3 or 4 starting quarterbacks throughout the season. And when you're switching your quarterback up a lot during the season, it's just not going to go the best for your offense. And I just think if they can have Fitzmagic or Taylor Heineke start, that could be really good for this team. And I feel like Fitzmagic will start because he has some good veteran experience. But you never know, they'll probably have a QB battle for Heineke and Fitzmagic in training camp. I think a good signing for football team, even if he does end up only being a backup. And I'm excited to see what Fitzmagic does in DC if he is the starter and see if he can lead this team to the playoffs. But let's get into the next signing. Next, we have the Patriots signing another tight end in Hunter Henry. According to most people, the best tight end available, and he signs for a 3-year, $37.5 million contract. So I guess if the Patriots want to run a 2 tight end set or have one of the 2 tight ends they signed play slot receiver, otherwise I don't think this is really a good signing because they're 2 really good tight ends and they're paying a lot of money, and I don't think you should be paying a lot of money in 2 different tight ends, except you're planning to have a lot of 2 tight end sets. But still very good tight ends, both of them, Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. So if they do a lot of 2 tight end sets or have one of them play in the slot a lot and one at just the tight end position, I think a good signing. But otherwise, I just don't think it's really necessary to have 2 really good tight ends. You're not going to run that many 2 tight end sets. So let me know down below what you think of that one, of signing a second tight end, and let's get into the next signing. Next, we have Shaquille Griffin signing with the Jacksonville Jaguars for 3 years, worth $40 million, cornerback. I think a really good signing for the Jaguars. They need some cornerback help outside of C.J. Henderson, and I think Shaquille Griffin could be really good and help the Jaguars team speed up that rebuild because he is very young, so I think a good signing. And they are just trying to rebuild with the new era, with Trevor Lawrence most likely coming in as the number 1 pick, Urban Meyer, the new head coach, and just that defense, maybe trying to get back to Saxonville. So adding that defense, I think, is a really good idea for the Jaguars, trying to get back to the playoffs and rebuild this team. And I think this is a good start, adding a really good cornerback, one of the best in free agency, if not the best available. Next signing we have is Andy Dalton to the Bears for 1 year, $10 million. I think a good signing for the Bears because if they don't want to go with Trubisky, I think Andy Dalton could be a really good option because he got to kind of just be like a game manager because that defense is really good and they can run the ball at David Montgomery. So if he can just make a few throws, I feel like he could be really good in this Bears offense, and the Bears can maybe make a playoff run with veteran quarterback Andy Dalton. Let's get into the next signing. Next, we have the Texans signing Tyrod Taylor on a 1 year, $12.5 million contract. I think a good signing for Tyrod Taylor because most likely he'll become the starter because Deshaun Watson just looks like he wants nothing to do with the Texans organization, and he'll be the starter, except if they trade Watson away and get like a really young player in return that could start immediately, or they could have him sit behind Tyrod. But I think a really good signing. At least now you have a good quarterback that could come in and play if you don't trade Watson or if you trade for someone for Watson, and you just don't want to start that quarterback immediately. So I think a good signing for them. They at least have somebody under center that I feel like could be a good quarterback for them. And let's get into the next signing. Next, we have Jacoby Brissett signing a one-year deal with the Miami Dolphins. I think a good signing for the Dolphins here because a good backup quarterback to Tua, because I think Brissett's is a good backup. I don't think he should be the starter over Tua, but we'll see what they decide to do. They might have a QB battle in the training camp, but I think a good backup Brissett, and maybe you can bring him in on some trick plays because he did do that a little bit in Indianapolis. So overall, I think a good signing for the Dolphins, and let's get into the next signing. And the final signing that I have for now is Emmanuel Sanders signing a one-year deal with the Buffalo Bills. We don't know the money amount at the time of filming this video, but I do think a good signing for Emmanuel Sanders because now he's trying to go win a championship, and the Bills are a really good team. Almost made it to the Super Bowl, just couldn't beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship, a really good team. But I think they could make it back there and possibly win this time if they can improve their team, get a little bit better on the defensive side of the ball. But Emmanuel Sanders, a really good receiver. He is a veteran at this point and getting up there in age, but he was really good for the Saints last year, and I think he could be good in this Bills offense with Josh Allen throwing in the football. So let me know down below what you guys think of all these signings. I think overall the teams are making good signings, except for the Patriots getting 2 tight ends, except that they want to run a lot of 2 tight end sets. Overall, I think good signings here, and just let me know down below what you think of all the signings. And I just wanted to bring an overview of pretty much all the signings that have happened so far, and I know I did leave some out. There are some other signings that aren't as major. I was just trying to get the major signings, because if I went through every signing that's happened, we would be here for hours, because there's just a lot of signings that have happened so far through the first 2 days of free agency. So I just went over the major ones, and thank you guys for watching the video. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel down below if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next video.